hear and to be able to speak. This is the first time I've gone live straight up through my channel without using StreamYard. I don't have access to StreamYard right now, so I'm just doing it this way. I apologize for the hand. It's a little bit fuzzy at the moment because I'm using my other phone. I'm without the ability to tether on my current phone service for the next few days because I used up all my megabytes that I'm supposed to tether on. So anyways, I'm just here this morning beginning what appears to be a brand new phase of things. I was released last night to begin. Let me move this, maybe I'll move this back a little bit. Feels like I'm a little bit close to it. Oh, that's why I did that. Let me move I'm working with new surroundings here too, so bear with me. There's nobody even here yet. So once again, going live just because it just seems to be easier for me to do that. And especially on this phone, I can't record. I won't be surprised if it buffers a lot and does some other things because it just doesn't have the quality that, I would like that to be a little bit taller. Let me see, will this work? Just up a little bit higher, or did it needed to be lower? I don't know. Anyways, doesn't really matter. That's just all, fussy little particulars that we don't need to be concerned about, right? And I'm looking at the wrong place, so if it's not looking in the camera, I apologize because my camera, and maybe if I turn it the other way, it'll help. We'll see. Hold on. Don't get seasick. There we go. No, it's going to be the same thing. So hold on. We're going to get seasick again. Rotate device. It says, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so here we are. I'm not sure. I haven't done this in my channel in so long. Okay, there we go. Now I'll be able to see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to see where I can set it up to where I can see I don't know where they'll come at. I don't know if I'll be able to see your comments. Somebody make a comment for me, would you? I haven't done this inside of YouTube in a while. I've been using StreamYard. I'm not able to do that today, so. Okay. I'm not sure how I will comment. If you comment and I don't see it, I apologize. It's because I'm not seeing it right now, and I'm not really sure how to. I've got it set to. It says welcome to live chat. Remember, so I think once you start chatting, it will pop up on the screen. I hope. Anyways, the live is not what's important this morning. It's the content that's important. So first of all, just going to take a deep breath. I don't know, those of you that frequent Discord will know that I ran into a very large bull snake this morning. We had quite the little introduction to each other. So I've had an adrenaline pumped morning today. So anyway, so I'm just going to take that deep breath, and hopefully you guys can hear me okay too. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay, very cool. Perfect. Somebody just messaged me. No worries. I got your message, by the way, so enjoy your day. Now I can see you. Thank you, I am. Yes, I can see your comments. It's just that nobody had commented yet. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. All right. So I picked the thumbnail just because on this phone I don't have very many pictures, and I didn't want the stupid, still shot of my face sitting here. It was dumb. So I picked it. I like that image, the we, me, how we, the reflection of me is we and vice versa. There's no separation. It's not really pertinent to what I'm going to discuss this morning or share with you, but I liked it. What is pertinent is the title, however. I'm very prepared for the possible reactions to even this title, She Knows Everything. I'm very prepared to I've been prepared for some time, been going through a lot of things within my internal kingdom and my processes to be prepared for many reactions to the things I'm going to be sharing from here on out. I've been waiting a long time to share these things, and they are here now. As soon as I said that, I'm at 4 minutes and 44 seconds. No accident. She knows everything. All right. I'm going to start this journey, and I'm going to be referring to written scriptures. All written scriptures of all kinds all have weeds and wheat in them. They all have the truth there if you're able to see. Hello, Coyote Chaos. How are you doing? I don't know if I will comment because I'll lose my focus, but if there's something really important that you would like to add, because I will be asking a few questions here in a bit, put it in all caps so it'll draw my attention to it, and I will address it as my focus allows me to. She knows everything. Now, where I got this statement from, I was awakened last night at 3:33 a.m. and encouraged to begin. Got the green light, the go. This channel is called, rightfully so, The Way of Mary. And this is a path that I've been on for about 2 years, a little over that. I've always been on it, but this is a very distinct and focused path. So, that being said, I was given the go to go ahead and begin, I guess what you could call my mission, ministry, my story. We all have a story that we bring with us into this incarnation. It's part of our soul contract. It's what we came here to do. So, that being said, this is the beginning of a very profound part of my story. And I'm just going to do what Spirit has led me to do, share what I've been led to share, and walk this with the inner knowing that I have for myself. So that being said, here we go. She knows everything. Now, I didn't look this scripture up because I don't have an electronic version of the Nag Hammadi scripts. And my book, unfortunately, I had to leave it when I had my exodus like almost 4 years ago. So I do have it online, but I didn't reference the scripture. If you want to go and look into the secret book of John, which these are the 2 books that I will be bringing a lot of what I'm sharing with you from. Namely, because they are written by John, Saint John. Okay? Let me just tell you, and I'm not going to tell you where I get these things from. If you're interested or curious, you can go and research it yourself. It's totally, you use your internal kingdom to poke into anything that I share with you, as you would any other place. I am not here to explain myself. I'm not here to give you a reason why I am saying what I'm saying. I will not be giving reasons, mostly why, unless Spirit leads me to do that. I will just be stating things matter-of-factly as they have been impressed upon my heart and to share in this format. So imagine that this is kind of similar to how Yeshua did things, only very much so in the reverse. He just knew one moment, and see, this is all going to be very tied into the connection between the divine feminine masculine energies and the imprint of the story of Yeshua and Mary. This is something that has been intrinsic to me since the day I was born. It's always been a blueprint on my life. Understand now why, in a much more profound way than I ever did. And Spirit woke me up at 3:33 in the morning and said, it's time to go, and here's the first thing you're going to talk about. I'm just jumping right out with it. No bars hold. No holds barred. No holds barred. I said that in reverse. I do that. So it's from the Nag Hammadi, and it is in the secret book of John. And what is around this scripture is the disciples and Yeshua were having a very common, thing where they would speak to each other, and he would give them instructions and talk, and they just shared with one another. They lived together. They were in ministry together. They were on mission together, as many of you know. And if you don't, once again, highly recommend that you go read the book of John in the Christian Bible, or read the secret book of John in the Nag Hammadi. You combine them both together, and it gives you a very, very good feel of the things that were shared by Yeshua and written by Mary. John was her pen name. She could not write as a Jewish woman because she would have been stoned, and if not killed, she would have definitely been ousted from society and treated as if she had some type of plague. Women were not allowed to do such things in that culture. So, that being said, all I'm going to be sharing is Yeshua's words written by Mary. 2 beloved individuals that I trust implicitly with everything in me. So that's what I'm doing. Good afternoon, Todd. Once again, I will remind you that if I don't address you in the chat, it's because I'm focused. We can chat afterwards, and I might throw some questions out, so then you can respond. Please do it in all caps so it grabs my attention. So, in the scriptures, and I don't know the number, So go and research it out if you're interested in finding. Trust me, it's there. I've read it with my own eyes. In the secret book of John in the Nag Hammadi, Yeshua and his disciples are sitting around having a conversation with each other. It's very clear in these scriptures that the disciples were a little bit frustrated and disgruntled with Yeshua because he spent a lot of time with Mary. He spoke to her often. He was affectionate with her. As we've all come to know in our awakened state, she was his significant other, his divine counterpart, his mission partner, his wife, his love, his best friend, whatever you would like to call it, that's what they were to one another. So one of the disciples just comes up and speaks it to Jesus and says, Yeshua, why is it that you spend so much time with her? Now see, they had the Jewish perspective on femininity and womanhood, which was not the most beautiful perspective. Women were not even allowed in the inner parts of the synagogue. They had to be in the feminine part of the synagogue. They weren't allowed to interact with the masculine leadership in that culture. So these guys were like, why are you talking to that woman? I mean, it's okay, she's cool, she's here, she like cooks and does dishes and stuff, but why are you constantly spending so much time with her? He had one answer for them. And there were many other answers, I'm sure. I'm just here focusing on this one answer. He just turned to them and simply said, I spend so much time with my Mary because she knows everything. Someone just drove by, I apologize. She knows everything. And so that's why I titled this video, She Knows Everything. We're going to break that down. I'm opening this beginning process, this new now moment with this scripture, and I will be continuing with whatever Spirit puts within my heart, as well as scriptural references. And I was assured last night that this is exactly what should take place. I can liken it to when Yeshua did a lot of his speaking. He talked a lot about the scriptures that were already in place for the time. And he did use them as a format for him to go into them, and then he brought them into a place where he spoke them from the mastery that was within him. The I am presence, his one with Father, Mother, God understanding. And he revealed things about what was already said and what was already put forth. So I was very assured last night that going through this direction is not moving backwards. It's not going into the old and readopting the old and going back into those old religious statutes of stating that, the things we did when we were dogmatic Christians. If you were not, whatever dogma you held, even if it was, atheism, okay? Whatever dogma it was that you held, I'm not returning to that. And see, here I am, and I'm doing it again. I hear you, Spirit. I'm not going to explain what I'm doing. I'm just going to do it. I'm a very, very explanatory human, and I love everything to be clear. This is not the time for that. I don't have to, somebody sent me a meme yesterday, and it's perfect. I don't have to explain anything to anyone, okay? So, she knows everything. So what we're going to start with this morning is he was referring to Mary Magdalene, the divine counterpart, the feminine energy in the beautiful mastered union of Yeshua and Mary, the Son, the One, depicted to be the example for the One, you and I. We are one. There is no separation. So, she knows everything. We're going to break this down. Okay, so very clearly she. Now, in the moment where they were sitting there speaking to each other, clearly Yeshua was speaking of the person Mary, because the divine masculines in this were having a question about him spending so much time with a worthless female, basically, because that's how that culture saw that. Why do you spend so much time with her when we're the ones with the masculine power? We're going to be the ones that do this. We're going to be the ones that take this track race, and that's going to lead into some other things that I'm coming up with. I was given that this morning too. This track race, we're the ones that are going to be the ones running the race. Why are you spending so much time with her? So the first reference to she is to the physical embodiment of the earth character Mary Magdalene. The other reference to she is talking about the divine feminine energy that's the balanced yin of the yang of the internal kingdom that we all have within us. It's the feminine energy, the the portion of that which we are that is the feminine energy. So those are the two things referenced in here. Okay, so we understand the areas around she. There's many things around feminine energy. If it pokes your interest, I highly recommend that you go within and seek out what Spirit shows you about that. Knows. Okay, this is a key word. Knows. What does it mean to know? What does it mean to know something? There are many places in all scriptures, even in our own hearts, when we think we know something or we know something. It's an actual knowing. All real knowing, with a capital R, is within your kingdom. In here. In this place where you know I am that I am. That part where you are one with Mother, Father, God. It's within you. So when you know something, it's intimate. Into me I see. Intimacy. Into me I see. There's an intimacy in that. No. Oh, you know what I was going to do? And I didn't grab it. So we're going to have to play pretend. I was going to grab a real apple and do this like a total physical, tangible thing. So we're just going to pretend. Do you see my beautiful apple right here? Isn't it gorgeous? And since we're pretending, I'm not going to eat the Gala apple I was going to bring. This is a Honeycrisp, my favorite apple on the planet. So if I got to pretend, I'm having a Honeycrisp, okay? I want you to imagine you see this beautiful apple. Now, all of us know this is an apple. In comparison, we know that there is God. We know that there is Mary. We know that there is Yeshua. We know what we know by witnessing in the outer what they are. This apple is in the outer. We can know that it's an apple. But how do we know the apple? How do we know it? The first thing I would do, a good Granny Smith, okay, Todd, you imagine your apple being whatever you want. It doesn't even have to be an apple, but it does need to be something you eat. So I'm just using an apple. So the first thing I'm going to do when I get to know this apple is by looking at it. I picked it because it looks beautiful and it's gorgeous. And then I'd smell it. So the first thing I did was touch it with my hands and then smell it. I'm starting to bring it within, into me. And then, now we can say it's an apple. We know what it feels like. We know what it smells like. But until you bite into that apple, chew it and swallow it, bringing it to your insides. And there's more process even after this. Once you've eaten the entire thing, you still don't fully know it because it goes into your digestion system. It breaks down, it goes into all of your cells. Imagine your body being your own universe and representative of all of creation. This is what occurs. Now you can say, I know this apple because you've tasted it. Taste it and see that it is good is another thing that Yeshua, and if I look in the wrong part of the camera, yes, it is, Todd. Transference of energy is everything. That's how we're doing everything we're doing. Imagine that. Now you have tasted this. Taste it and see if it is good. And once again, good, used lightly. See if it's beneficial. I like to use the word beneficial rather than good. It's less of a judgment between good and bad. Beneficial. So now you've eaten this apple. You can honestly look at someone and say, I know this apple. I've consumed this apple. It is now a structural part of myself. Because when you consume food, it goes into your anatomy and it becomes part of you. It becomes part of you in nutrients and fluid and waste. It becomes part that builds your cells. It becomes part of you. So now you know this apple. It is now part of you. It is you. Interesting. Isu, it is you, is another name that we call to refer to Yeshua. Isu, Yeshua. There's lots of references to this individuated one. So now that's what know means. You know. So she, divine feminine, earth character Mary, knows. She knows. She knows. So that means it's in her very essence. It's in every part of her. And because I'm talking about the physical body, I can hear energy that's saying that you're just talking about the physical. The physical is in the outer. The outer is the creation. It is a representation and manifest of everything that's in the inner. So I totally hear that. Once again, not going to explain things. If it doesn't make sense, go within and ask for clarification. So now she knows. So we have this very solidified in our mind's eye and our imagination. She knows. Now the next thing we're going to break down is everything. Now a statement like this is very controversial. How in the world, let alone a woman in that society, let alone a woman, but how could any one individual know everything? So we've broken down she, we've broken down know. Let's break down everything. This comes from a very divine perspective process. What is everything? What does she intimately know on an intimate personal level, that it is so intimate that it is in her DNA, and that DNA is connected through light codes to the I am presence that is the all of all? So what is everything? That is my question to you to ponder for a moment. Let me answer you from my kingdom what everything meant. Everything is the I am. Divinity. 3 people, 3 likes. Awesome sauce. 33. It's a good number. Yeshua's number. Thank you. I will take it for the reminder. Thank you for being present in this, my love. Everything. Everything is everything. I am coming to know in this now moment, where I sit before you in this now moment, which is the only moment there is, that there isn't anything that is not divinity. So everything is everything. It is source creation from its source to all of its expressions in every universe, omniverse, megaverse. Every creation, everything that is in existence whatsoever is the hum of the I am. Frequency, you had mentioned that, Todd. Frequency, energy. Our brother Derek has spoken much about this hum that is basically carrying everything. It is everything. If Source chose not to hum this frequency, it would simply be back to Source, and there would be no individuated aspects and creation. So it's this everything is everything. This phone case right here, is that everything? Yep, frequency. Everything is everything. So if we look at the statement that he said, it was so profound, and I know it went right over the heads of the apostles. I'm quite sure that most of them, some of them might have looked into it and actually pondered and maybe came up with some depths. But to say that a woman, let alone a woman, knows everything is a ridiculous statement in the earth game, in carnal, this story that we're living in. It's ridiculous to say anyone knows everything. Or is it? Yeshua was very, very accurate. He spoke to Mary because he understood this track race, and that's the thing I was going to bring you in to the next thing. This track race that we're running. I don't know about you and your perspective, but for me, I have always perceived the allegory story, the physical life, the actual reality, little r, on this earth plane of Yeshua and Mary as an indicative example and a powerful moment in all of creation for this earth story to begin a race, a track race, a resetting, a balancing, if you will, as above, so below, the inverse of the reverse that had been taking on for eons. So if you look at it from that perspective, and it's like a track race. I don't know how many of you are familiar with running track. I ran track in high school, so probably an easy crossover for me. Just watch a track race, especially the one where it's the relay race, where they have the baton. The team members, there's only one team member that carries the baton at a time. And that team member runs until the time frame when they are to hand that baton back to the next one to carry it further. And the one that has the baton is the last one to have the baton, is the one that finishes the race. Who did Yeshua, this is physical story I'm talking about right now, who did Yeshua hand the baton off to? If you don't know, Go and look. I can tell you right now, he handed it to Mary. She was his significant other. She was his scribe. She was his partner, his best friend, and his beloved disciple, all of the above. And she was the one, after everything went crazy, after he left this form, that continued the way in the way that she received it from Yeshua's understanding. After that, the Apostle Paul and other things took place, and there were ways that were created off of the life of Jesus, Yeshua. But the true way, the mystic mastery that Yeshua had within him, that way, that race was begun and the baton was handed to Mary. The way of Mary. So that was what I wanted to begin with this morning. We're right at a half an hour, and I don't want any of these ever to be any longer than that. She knows everything. You have divine feminine frequency and energy within you. And we've all been going through this balancing act, and you can probably feel the marriage within. Somebody stated, it was a brother of mine that stated, I read it this morning, and it was beautifully stated, that he gave the example of the soul being the divine feminine and the Christ being the divine masculine, and that union happens together where the mind, that's what it was, the mind was the Christ and the soul was the feminine, the spirit, and they are in union with one another inside. And that's a very good description, because the thought and the doing processes are a masculine attribute, and the feeling and watery movement of the spirit is a feminine aspect. So I really did like that the mind of Christ marries the soul of divinity, and they become one. Whichever way you want to paint it, this process began within, and everything that we create, everything that happens within our kingdom will be experienced in the outer. As above, so below. Inner, outer. The bridge. So that being said, the race was began, if you will, when Yeshua began to speak. And I'm going to be going through the entire book of John, and I'm going to be going through the entirety of the secret book of John that I'm called to. It's quite thick and extensive, so I'm not sure what I'll be called to. But I want to address all of the words that Yeshua spoke, that Mary wrote. And I am going to be walking through a process that was very similar to I'll pick up that chat question in just a minute, Todd. I'll have you ask it again. It's a good question. I don't have a way to stop it, or StreamYard is so much easier to use. Oh, okay, so I'm about to speak something important because I have 4 likes and 4 thumbs up. There's lots of 4s on my screen. 4 is a mission number for me. So, see, and I get distracted so easy. Oh. Anyways, Yeshua and Mary Yeshua began this track race that is in the final lap now. And in his lap that he began to reverse the what's the word I'm looking for? The masculine, overly masculine arena, the overly negatively charged arena of the eons of the darkness in the duality being more prevalent than the lightness in this duality that we've created for our experience. He began the race, the track race of reversing that process by addressing it where it was at. As a Hebrew rabbi, a Hebrew teacher, that's how people saw him, that's how he was received, that's how he presented himself. Do not let it fool you for a moment that he was the most incredible mystic master ever. And now I say that with absolute joy and no ambivalence. There have been many masters that have walked in their storylines and shown that they are masters. We got Buddha, we got Gandhi, we got so many, Yoganandi. There's so many beautiful depictions of beings that have come as far back as you can search. But for me, and in this moment, on this storyline, Yeshua and Mary were pivotal. Yeshua began the reverse of the patriarchal, overly balanced in the sense of having this side heavier than the other, he began the reverse of that, which was something that was within. This was an imbalance within. It's this duality that we're in. It just simply became very, very imbalanced. He reversed that. He began the reversal. Let's say he didn't reverse it because he's still working on it. It's still being worked out. We are in the final lap, like I said. He did what he came to do, received as that Jewish rabbi, received as that Jewish teacher, and presented himself in a way that said, the things that you've read so far, let me flip those over a little bit for you. And he was not met well. As we all know, he left his form. He met his demise doing that on purpose. Billions of reasons why he did that. There's lots of reasons why he did that. And he gave up his form. He died, as we call it, as a result of putting things forward the way he did. He started that race. And then before he left, everything that he spent so much time, why do you spend so much time talking to her, Yeshua? Everything he handed over to Mary. He said, now you take the baton, it is your turn to run. Now, she did what she was supposed to do in that incarnation, in that earth character, Mary. She did everything. She met with the disciples. She pushed things forward. She walked. There was the Pentecost. There was all of those things that took place. Go and read it. We'll probably be going through it at some point because of the book of John. And when we get there, I'll touch on it more in depth. But that was just, once again, in the outer. It was a representation of the inner that's taking place. This is something that's much bigger than what we see in the third dimensional outer reality that we are encompassing. But it's representative. And that's where I'm at now. It's time for me to go from those ethereal places that I have traveled and bring it right back down into this actual earth game and this story that we're telling. And Yeshua knew full well, he knew everything too. He knew everything. He was one with everything. He told us that. He said, if you've seen me, you've seen my Father. And many times he said, Abba. It was a secret little thing that he did that nobody really understood because they believed it just was the, endearing term in the Jewish language for father. But not so. Abba. Okay? It's a mirror image, and I know you probably can't see it too well. It's going to be backwards for you, but it's A-B-B-A. Draw a line down the center. It's just like, oh, that's why you had me do that, Spirit. The we, me. It's the both and. Both and. You're going to hear me say this over and over again. Everything on the rest of this last lap that we're running is both and. You look at it right there with the line between it. It's A-B, B-A. As above, so below. Both and. Abba means Father, Mother, God. He was already beginning to energetically, with frequency by his speaking, put the frequency, and this is coming just right now, fresh off the cuff, put the frequency into the ether by saying Abba, Father, both and. He was secretly saying 3333, boom. He was secretly saying Abba, Father, both and. He was bringing the balance into play, and then he handed the frequency of that balance to Mary and said, here's the baton, my love, your turn to run. And she did in her incarnation what she was supposed to do, but frequency-wise, she started the domino effect that has trickled itself all the way down to where you and I sit in this beautiful awakening, this ascension process where we are all coming to a knowing that we've never come to before and a remembrance of who we are. And it is no longer based in teaching. It is no longer based in learning. That's what Yeshua started with because he met the world where it was at. Handed the baton to Mary. The spirit of Mary is picking up the world where she is at now. And it is about remembrance, inclusion, union, unity, the one. And that is where we are at. I'm just reading my notes real quick. Okay. What Yeshua did with the scriptures then, he left to Mary, the scribe of his words, to do the same with his words. And I'm not going to explain to you anything. I'm just going to tell you that is become an is in my life. It used to be a possibility and a probability, and it is now an is. Just is. Okay? So I've been asked to share this that I am receiving with you. And that's what I'm doing, what I've been asked to do. And I'm going to, and this is it. This is go time. No, nothing held back. I'm not going to explain it to you. I'm not going to try to get you to understand how it is possible that that could occur. If it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If you are in the frequency to receive, you all are in the frequency to receive what you will receive from this. What frequency you're in will depict where this energy goes within your kingdom. It's for everyone. It's for the all, the we, me, the Abba, Father, the both and. Book of St. John, the book of Yeshua penned by Mary, the girl who knows everything. So that being said, we're at 35 minutes. I love you all so much, and I'm so grateful for this. This is the beginning. And I'm probably, I don't know how often, but probably weekly is what I'm thinking. My new life that I have just stepped into that is completely transformed into something brand new has allotted me all the time and space that I need to be able to be fully focused on these next things. So what I'm going to do in the next one is I think I will start with the book of John. And the question that I wanted to ask you, and you can bring this up to me now, there's only one person listening, so I was going to bring up the chat and look at it, but I can't because nobody's chatting, it doesn't show up. I think Todd did ask a question about why, something about the divine feminine and how it's been somewhat dissuaded and squashed. I'm not really sure because I can't see it, so I'll answer it next time. But my question to you is, if you have a scripture that comes from the book of John, anything that Yeshua said that has led you to believe something that maybe you're questioning or you're just pondering, send it to me. Send it to me in a text on this video once it posts after it's live. Put it in all caps, and I will look up the scripture, and I will share with you as Mary listened to Yeshua's words and wrote them down, and the frequency that the two of them created together. I will share with you what Spirit gives me as to what Yeshua was actually saying. John, I know that seems cryptic, but seriously, synchronicity. Yes, okay, let me see here. All right. I'm going to post something on a comment real quick. No, it says no. See, this is, I don't like using, YouTube. It's StreamYard so much easier. I'm in a little bit of flux financially and stuff right now in my surroundings. Once I get it settled down, I'll have StreamYard back. But yes, that's a wonderful thing. So what I would like you to do is, once I'm done with this video, if you have something in John that you're, anything, you just pick it. If Yeshua said it, if it's red letters, put it up there. And I will bring it into my heart, and I will put it before Spirit, and I will share with you what comes to me on it. I love you all very much, and I'm very, very happy to finally be in this place. Oh, and I shared it in Discord about my snake visitor, and it was so perfect because you know where he was? All 8 foot of him, he was coiled up underneath my head all night, underneath my camper, right where my bed was at. And I felt this presence of protection. I felt this presence, and he was there all night. And then I looked up what the spirit totem is of a snake, and it's protection and divine feminine infusion of this frequency, the balancing of the divine feminine. So here I was in being given this message by this beautiful snake, that I'm fully protected. My protection is right there with me, and there is an infusion of this divine feminine frequency and balancing going on right now. So, and then I woke up at 3:33 in the morning, and the go light was on, and I heard very clearly from a frequency that I haven't heard super clearly for a while. Just been kind of like, yeah, it was beautiful and perfect. So I'm fully ready and prepared to do this, come what may. I love you all, and I hope to talk to you soon. Once I have StreamYard up, it will be nicer because we can engage with each other a little bit easier for me. Have a beautiful day. I love you, and I see you. I see you. We'll talk soon. Okay, and I don't even remember how to end this, so I'm going to try that too. I think you do this. Yes. Okay. I did figure out how to do it, so I'll say goodbye again. Have a wonderful afternoon. And is it even, I don't even know what time it is. Yeah, it's 1 o'clock. Okay, so it is afternoon. And I will be coming again soon with the next phase of whatever it is that I'm supposed to share with you. You're perfect. You're loved. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You are on target for your plan. Absolutely. Yes. Well, it's not the next. My whole life has been the book of John. Pretty much, Todd. But yes, I'm actually going to walk through the entire thing. Kind of like it reminds me of the Sermon on the Mount. I'm going to be going through the Beatitudes. Oh, I have some beautiful things to share on the Beatitudes. And you'll know when you hear this in your inner kingdom, when you hear it and feel it, just like Mary did the first time she sat at Yeshua's feet and she heard his words and she started to know everything. You'll know when you hear it. You'll be like, it will be like water to your soul. You'll be like, oh, that fits what's happening in this now moment, in this ascension, in this awakening, in this beautiful remembering everything. You'll know. I promise you, you'll know. You're beautiful, perfect. I love you. We'll talk soon.